A very good afternoon to you. It is 1 o'clock. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi with the top stories at this hour. The National Assembly is set to vote on the two-thirds gender rule this afternoon. Kennedy Mureithi is in Parliament for the build-up, and he'll bring us the very latest. Remember that this is an issue that has sparked a lot of reaction from across the board, with support from both the President and the Deputy President. Let's get a sense of what to expect this afternoon. Kennedy, what can you tell us?
Well, thank you very much, Smriti. And what is happening right now is that there are various methods that are being employed to actually make sure that members of Parliament are in time. And at exactly 2:30, they'll be here in Parliament. And one of those is that the women folk, that is the women members of Parliament, are right now have organized a luncheon with their male counterparts. And this is a follow-up from what they had yesterday night, where at the Norfolk Hotel, they had another meeting with the male members of Parliament, just trying to call upon them to support this cause. The argument is that today it might be us and tomorrow it might be you. We might actually have caucused so much to get women on our side, and in 2022 they will be seeking votes and they will be voted, and probably those who will be marginalized are the men. So they are calling upon them to support this bill. And a few minutes ago I was able to meet the leader of majority, and this time round he feels, he says that he is very confident that this bill is going to pass. But others are still of the opinion that it is not a priority. But right now, a few minutes ago, that is at about 11:30, the ODM membership led by the minority leader in the National Assembly, John Mbadi, called a press conference flanked by about 6 other members of Parliament, and they were of the opinion that this is a matter that needs to pass in Parliament. And they actually invoked the fact that any Kenyan can go and petition the courts to have Parliament dissolved, and that it is one of the. It is also another method that they are using just to try and instill fear on members of Parliament, so that they know what is at stake if this is not passed. And they are saying that it has happened before, and the courts have pronounced themselves on this matter. So if at this particular time another Kenyan goes to court and petitions Parliament or petitions the courts to make sure that Parliament is dissolved, then probably we will be heading to another election. So these are just some of the things that are being employed at this particular time. But we've also seen Passaris, that is Esther Passaris, the women representative of Nairobi, saying that he is a bit disappointed by the leadership of the political parties in the country, whereby he says that other matters have precipitated the members, the leaders of these political parties to call for parliamentary group meetings. But on this particular one, they have not gone that extra mile, and she says that probably the women folk are disappointed. What we expect in Parliament at 2:30 o'clock this afternoon is that John Mbadi, who is the minority leader, says there is a possibility of the ODM leader, that is Raila Odinga, making a show here in Parliament, just like the other time, though it fell, and he'll just be coming to see what happens. ODM has 76 members of Parliament, and all of them have been called upon to come here this afternoon, with the fact that they are being told that it is a party position that this bill must pass. We've not seen the same from Jubilee, but they have been caucusing through the President and the Deputy, who have been on the various platforms calling on members of Parliament to come in and pass this bill. It is a constitutional bill and has to be passed, and a new sunset clause of 20 years has actually even been introduced. But what happens if they do not meet the 233 members? If Parliament is not able to raise that number this afternoon, then the leader of majority, who's the mover of this bill, has the prerogative to call on the Speaker of the Speaker of the National Assembly to probably defer voting to a later date, so that more lobbying can continue. That is one of the things that happens. And if it fails, then only 6 months can it be introduced. At this particular time, that is what is happening, and we'll be looking forward to that vote. Right now, it's back to you, Smriti, in studio.
Kennedy, thanks very much for that. More from you later on. NTV's Kennedy Mureithi coming to us live from the National Assembly. All right, elsewhere, the National Hospital Insurance Fund Board has appointed Nicodemus Ochieng Odongo as the Acting Chief Executive Officer and Bernard Njenga as the Acting Finance and Investment Director, effective today. Now, the board has also appointed an ad hoc committee to work closely with the new appointees during the interim. Nicodemus Ochieng and Bernard Njenga are expected to foster teamwork amongst the staff and ensure the fund delivers its mandate without interruption. The two have also been appointed as signatories to the NHIF bank accounts, while Jeffrey Mwangi and Wilbert Kurgat have been withdrawn and have been sent on compulsory leave. The appointments follow investigations and subsequent court proceedings where Mwangi and Kurgat face charges over a corruption scam worth 2 billion shillings at the health insurer. The two accused are currently awaiting a bail ruling by Chief Magistrate Francis Andai to determine their fate while investigations are ongoing. Now, Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko has been ranked the most improved governor in service delivery in a latest poll by research firm TIFA. Sonko's ratings jumped 7 points from a score of 44% in May to 51% in November. The poll, which was conducted between the months of October and November, ranks Kisumu Governor Anyang' Nyong'o as the best performer with an average score of C+. While others who were graded by the poll are Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho and his Kiambu counterpart Ferdinand Waititu, both who scored the lowest grade of a C.
There's an improvement of 7% from 44 to 51%. So actually we can say, being thought leaders as TIFA Research, we can say actually he took the initiative and worked much more harder, and the scores have increased. On the areas is dramatically improved the ECD program, feeder roads, keeping the county clean, and the sewages system.
So the best performer scored a C+. I mean, I don't know how impressive that is. The pressure is on to definitely perform better and get at least a B, perhaps. All right, elsewhere, Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi says he's not been given any government appointment. Speaking on Sidebar on Tuesday night, Musalia said that it was not in his interest to land a government job, stating that this could gag him.
First of all, there's no offer that has come to me. But I have stated way before, and I stand by it, that I don't believe that we deserve or I deserve to be in government. Okay? We were competing against the Jubilee government. They have their mandate. Once you take up a government job, my friend, you're in it. You are gagged, and you are in it. Under the principle of collective responsibility, we would not be able to discuss issues here. Because you would be looking at it and saying, will I breach the principle of collective responsibility? So I don't want to be gagged. I want to be able to express myself and to speak to citizens' issues and the country's issues. And where the government has done well, I will commend it. I will not shy away from saying so. And where it is slipping, I will also point it out.
Now, the family of a girl who was allegedly defiled by her 75-year-old grandfather has called for the immediate arrest of the suspect and those who tried to settle the matter out of court. This incident brings into focus the prevalence of defilement cases that go unpunished owing to the stigma, more so when a relative is involved.
Her misfortune drew many to her compound, all curious about the events that led to the alleged crime. The 13-year-old Maria, not her real name, had been left under the care of her grandfather as her mother went about her duties as a casual laborer. Upon her return, she received unthinkable news of her father-in-law and her daughter.
Alifanyika nini? Tabia mbaya. Alishika naweka kitanda na mtoto ya class 5 alikuja anaangalia babu yake ndani ya nyumba na alisema inafanyika tabia mbaya.
Following the advice of her neighbors, she left her matrimonial home. Her family took the teenager to hospital where the doctors confirmed that she had been defiled.
Hakukata, akasema nimefanya. Na hii si mara ya kwanza. Nimefanya kwa mara mingi. Sasa wao wakasema tutafanya hii kama kimila. Lakini tukaona hiyo ilikuwa baya.
Hii maneno ambao wasichana wetu hata wengine ambao hawana ulemavu wakisha repiwa ati wazee wanakaa chini, ati hiyo maneno inafanywa tradition, ati kuna kusafisha huyu mtu mwenye amefanya kosa kama hii. Hakuna kitu ambayo itasafisha mtu mwenye amefanya kosa isipokuwa ni kupelekwa korokoroni ili aweze kulipia dhambi zake ya hapa ulimwengu.
The family has asked the police to move swiftly and arrest the suspect alongside those who attempted to cover up the crime. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Right.
It's an issue which will be addressed by the legal expert or the legal mind to advise. Now in this place, what are we going to do? What are the children? They have messed, but they are the children. It's an issue which is very high. Even you will realize 40%, as I've said, 50%, they are children-to-children cases.
So when they come before us, they are supposed to be treated as vulnerable children, both the girl and the boy. And the focus is on how we can uphold their best interests.
And on the same issue, teenage pregnancy in Kisumu is more rampant in rural areas due to poverty and gender inequality. This was revealed during the start of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in Kisumu County. According to Plan International Kenya, teenage pregnancy has gone up from 22% to 42%. 25% of teenagers in Kisumu County reported to have had sex before the age of 15 years, and 80% of teenage pregnancies occur in primary school. Extremely shocking and disturbing statistics. Let's change focus now, and the Orgululoi Group branch in Kajiado South has closed its gates due to ongoing leadership wrangles. The wrangles have split the 11,845 members into two groups, with each faction holding a parallel election. Each of the two factions also claim to have a certificate of ownership. Now, some of the members held a peaceful protest against what they term as interference from local leaders. They also claim that some leaders have been imposed on them in order to control the 14,700 hectares of land. Members want Kajiado County Governor Joseph Olelenku, who is a member, to stay away from the branch elections.
Tunataka haki kwa watu wetu, na kama haki haitapatikana, wakitangaza tunatangaza, wakiapisha tunaapisha.
Tharaka Nithi Governor Muthomi Njuki has called on the County Assembly to approve the county's spatial plan in an effort to open up development projects in the county. Governor Njuki said that there was an embargo on place on buildings within the county headquarters, and continued delay in the approval of the spatial plan was stalling the headquarters takeoff. The governor said the county headquarters plan was detailed and catered for all forms of businesses, including the setting up of modern recreational facilities and modern businesses that would make the municipal competitive. He said this as he unveiled a new municipal board that would be in charge of the town and guide the setting up of business in the county.
department in these auspicious.
We will not be able to access funds for Kenya Urban Support Program if we do not have an approved spatial plan. County Assembly, nimeona chairman wa Lands Committee, and I'm telling you, when I speak on this microphone, I don't speak to those people standing here, I speak to the whole of Kenya. That wale wameshikilia Tharaka Nithi ama county headquarters ya Tharaka Nithi spatial plan kuwa registered kule head office na tupate pesa kwa dona ni County Assembly ya Tharaka Nithi, kwa sababu chairman amekalia ile spatial plan. Kama unapenda Tharaka Nithi, hiyo plan ikuwe approved latest by January, ili nifungue embargo ya mjengo katika county headquarters ya Tharaka Nithi. Because saa hii tukifungulia, alafu wakati hiyo kitu inapelekwa kwa wananchi wasema tutaki hii hapa, tunataka hapa, wewe nitakuwa nimekudanganya kweli ama ni wrong? So we must have a approved one by the county assembly na wananchi, na ikuwe registered, ndio tukubali sasa tumefungua. We are saying with authority, you can build your bar here, you can build your school here, you can build your hospital there, because it is a plan that is approved by the public, approved by the government of Kenya and by the county assembly.
Now, all manufacturing companies will be required to add value to a portion of their products before they market them, if a policy being drafted by the government is introduced. Speaking today during the launch of the Faraja Tea, Trade and Industrialization Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya has said that the government has drafted a policy that will require the manufacturing companies to add value to their products to create jobs.
Looking at what other countries have done, compulsory requirement that you earn value to whatever you are exporting by law has worked elsewhere, and we want to adopt that. So that we set a target. For example, locally, value addition is, it's now 70%. We can say in the next 1 year, we won't give people time, because it's not like something you can do instantly, because you require the infrastructure. We say, for example, we want to raise it to 50% or 40%.
Operators of the four-seater light commercial vehicles, popularly known as Proboxes, are up in arms over the ban of over 1,200 vehicles by police in Trans Nzoia County. And most of the operators claim to have secured loans to purchase the vehicles and would be left counting losses. Well, this comes as Boda Boda operators in the town protested against the rising cases of underage riders.
Probox operators plying Kitale Cherengani, Kitale Endebes and Kitale Kiminini protested against what they claim is discrimination by the government for banning over 1,200 vehicles.
Tutaanza kutekeleza sheria hii ya bodaboda tarehe 1 mwezi wa pili. Lakini hao watu wametupata offside bwana. Wanakuja hata stage. Mapikipiki wamepanga hapo, maguruza zinakuja, wanapanga mapikipiki zote wanapeleka.
The local leaders have accused the government of imposing laws without involving the public. He promised to table a motion in parliament to contest the ban.
Lakini tumekubaliana na maafisa pia wa usalama kwamba juma lijalo tutakuwa na mkutano ya kwanza. Mambo isipoivana mnajua Kenya itafuata.
Transport has been greatly affected and passengers have to pay more. The operators have threatened to paralyze transport in the county. Fatma Bugu, NTV.
And the Mandera County government has officially shut down 13 shallow wells supplying water in the area for failing to meet health and safety standards. According to the authorities, only one well will remain operational after complying with the set rules. County government officials cited contamination from surface runoff water occasioned by heavy rainfall that has pounded the region over the past month. Mandera East Public Health Chief Officer Hussein Yusuf warned that consumers in the area are at a high risk of contracting waterborne diseases. In April 2016, some 894 cases of waterborne diseases were reported in Mandera East sub-county alone, claiming about 20 lives.
We will not relent until we will make sure that we will reach a common bond where no more waterborne disease will actually come out of this town, because if it means putting the necessary strategy in place by the water guys.
To Embu now, 93 villages in Mbeere North sub-county have benefited from a campaign to stop open defecation in households that have no toilets. The residents in these villages now have a lower risk of contracting waterborne diseases such as cholera and typhoid. The program targeted households that did not have latrines at all. Speaking during the World Toilet Day and Hand Washing Day, Embu County Health Director Stephen Kanyaru confirmed that over 200 villages had been sensitized on matters hygiene. Let's cross borders for a moment, and Congolese opposition candidate Felix Tshisekedi was welcomed by tens of thousands of his supporters as he returned to the capital city Kinshasa to launch his campaign ahead of next month's presidential elections. A total of 21 candidates are in the race to replace outgoing President Joseph Kabila, who has ruled the Central African nation since 2001, when his father, Laurent Kabila, was assassinated.
55-year-old Felix Tshisekedi.
Mahia caretaker coach Zedekiah Zico Otieno is targeting to guide his side to the group stages of the CAF Champions League as they seek to better their performance in the Continental Club competition. Gor will host Nyasa Big Bullets from Malawi at Kasarani Stadium, and that's from 7 p.m. with the return leg set for next week away.
Kenyan Premier League champions Gor Mahia is upbeat ahead of Wednesday's CAF Champions League preliminary round first leg encounter against Malawi Giants Nyasa Big Bullets. Under interim coach Zedekiah Zico Otieno, Kogalo are seeking to reach Champions League group stages. Zico will be without defender Burundian Karim Zigimana and Ivorian striker Ephraim Gwikan, who have not been registered for this year's campaign.
Last year we were in the Champions League and we were relegated to the Confederation Cup where we went up to the group stages. That was an achievement considering that it was the first time a Kenyan team was doing that. So going forward now we're in the Champions League and I think our target is no lesser than last season. We want to reach the group stages again.
Newly signed Uganda Cranes star Erisa Sekisambu is expected in tomorrow's lineup, along with Jack Tuisenge to lead Kogalo's charges up front. The team's 8 new acquisitions all took part in their final training session ahead of the match. Joachim Oluoch and Kevin Omondi also missed today's session as their contracts ran out in December with rumors of impending exit from the club.
Hapo tuna take one game at a time. Hatuwezi sema tutafika mahali pe tulifika last season ama tutapita hapo ama tutanini. But si game ya kwanza ni ya kesho hiyo. Tupate good result alafu tuangalie away uko vile tacheza.
Wesley Onguso meanwhile has parted ways with Kogalo and joined Posta Rangers in their transfer window. The winner of this clash will meet either Cameroon USM Diloum or Nigerian outfit Lobby Stars, who face off on Wednesday afternoon in Njombe, Cameroon. Tickets for the match retail at 200 shillings regular and 500 shillings VIP on match day.
Marijuana for ladies.